Let's start with the Cybertruck guy. This is obviously on X. Oh, let me jump. I got to present right now. Here we go. So here's the Cybertruck guy. His ID survived, which is crazy. Okay. So we'll get to his name in a second. I don't quite. Oh, is it right here? It's J. Is it? I don't. Matthew, something like that. I don't quite have his name memorized. We'll get into it. Clearly, he's not that important to society because he tried to be a killer. He tried to hurt people. He only killed himself. So, there you go. So thank God that he wasn't able to take anyone with him. According to the news stories we're seeing, and I'm sure that you have seen, nothing survived in that wreck completely, except for some of the weapons. The Cybertruck itself, pretty sturdy. It survived fairly well, but his ID and his passport survived. So for some reason, we were able to know exactly who he is. That's wild. That's wild. They also said they found, because he's a former Green Beret, I don't have the total profile of the guy, so I'll break down as much as I have or I can remember it from my reading. But he's an ex-military guy. The Cybertruck guy is definitely unhinged. They're unhinged motherfuckers. Even though they're thinking that they're thinking straight. You're not thinking straight when you're trying to kill people. You're just not. You're in a death cult. You have surrendered yourself to a power that's essentially taken you over. And if you're going to execute these steps with intentionality to try to murder people and create chaos, you're clearly unhinged. So this cat was unhinged. He spent a lot of years in the military, I think around 19 years, 18 years, a Green Beret, well versed in explosives. So a lot of the questions people have tonight is, how does a guy so good with explosives fail so miserably at trying to use explosives? Apparently he didn't think it through on the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck did not completely implode, which was an incredible thing. No one knew that it would survive that. It pretty much did. He put a bunch of explosives in it and just kind of a whole, I guess, a cornucopia of anything that would blow up. And the only thing that pretty much blew up was the back of the truck and him. The authorities are saying that his body was completely burnt beyond recognition. So whatever that means. But let's go right now to the actual explosion, which is pretty crazy. I'll show you that. Let's go here. And this is wild. Check this out. Here's some video from that. Let me, here we go.
Copy.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Copy.
He's saying copy. This one is actually inside of the Trump casino. Check this out. That's after the explosion, clearly. Look at that. Whoa. Wow. So there are more explosions and fireworks were in there. Wow. Now that must be that right there. If I was in here, I would be like, hey, what else is going to happen? This must have been pretty terrifying. Somebody now he shows me, he's like, what's going on? What the fuck? He thinks the battery blew. This guy, whoever's taking this record. Now, first of all, you're fired. Batteries don't do that. Okay. Check this one out.
I just heard a boom.
I just heard a boom.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I heard that boom too, but I didn't know it was actually outside. I thought it was a person in the hallway.
You thought it was a person in the hallway just blowing up? It's funny what people think in the moment, right?
I was teased because of my team. I didn't like the person.
So I'm assuming maybe they're in the hotel or a hotel across.
That's a lot of smoke.
That's a lot of smoke, he
That's
says.
another one I heard.
So this goes on for a
It
few
was
minutes.
like a boom, boom, boom,
Boom, boom,
And I
boom.
heard another.
and it almost sounded like a rolling, like garbage dumpster.
Yeah.
Interesting that he thought it sounded like a garbage dumpster. And then here is a photo outside of the chaos. So pretty crazy. So Mr. Cybertruck guy blew himself up. He didn't make it. Apparently, he put a gun to his head, or somehow he was shot and he died. So the question is, was it the chicken or the egg? Was he killed before the bomb went off? Did he shoot himself? Did someone shoot him? It's a lot of speculation, but anything is possible. Anything is possible. There are conversations that possibly the Cybertruck maybe he was killed before, put in the Cybertruck. Okay, this is a possibility. And because you can remote control these things, if you have a Tesla or a Cybertruck, there is a question: was he murdered somewhere else and then remotely driven to park right in front of the Trump Tower? Crazy. In the explosion video, which I didn't quite show that, I didn't show the full explosion video. You've probably seen it. There's a valet standing there off to this side, and he survived it, or he or she. It's hard to tell, but crazy. They survived that explosion. Pretty wild. So, according to the authorities, again, this guy's military, and he was stationed at Fort Bragg, or he had been to Fort Bragg a number of times. In order to pull this kind of attack off, a lot of things have to go right. Have you seen London Has Fallen with Gerard Butler, one of my favorite movies of all time? And there's a terrorist attack in London, and he's trying to get the president out. And at this point, they're successful. They're escaping. Spoiler. And they're in the air, and they're in a Air Force Two helicopter. I guess that's what you call it. And Gerard is the head of Secret Service. He's with the president. They're in there, and chaos had already ensued. I mean, all these people had been killed. A huge attack. They had barely escaped. There was a car chase. Good movie. You got to watch it. One of the best. And great action movie. And there's kind of a moment where there's a break between the action and the storytelling is like, okay, we're going to reset this and give you what the characters are thinking in this, like, because it had been like 20 minutes of chaos to this point, and they're talking, and the president looks at Gerard Butler and says, his character, and says, how did they pull this fucking thing off, man? This is insane. And Gerard Butler says, well, they only have to get it right. He says there's a lot of things that have to go right to make this happen. And he said, and the president said, something to the effect of, well, how did that happen? And he says, well, they just got a lot right. Mr. Cybertruck had planned on obviously killing people. He only killed himself. So you don't plan this in 30 days. You don't put all these things together in 30 days because there are red flags in our system. How do you get all those explosives? You don't go down to Lowe's and Home Depot and buy them all in 13 days. There's red flags for that. Our government has all sorts of red flags on what you buy, where you buy it, when you buy it, and how soon you buy it together. That's how they catch people. So they know to buy these things in different places, travel. You only need so many things to go right, and in order to get some of your plan done. Here it is. The Cybertruck bomber, his name is Matthew Livelsberger, and he was a drone guy, special forces. There's photos of him on social. Obviously, that's a good look when you killed yourself in a terror attack. The guy, I guess, had a fiance or something to that effect. He spent time in Germany, which is interesting. He worked on remote systems. So maybe he set the thing up to remotely drive after he dispatched himself. That's possible. The guy joined the Green Berets. Okay, so not that I'm some expert on the military, but I will say this. It is really tough to get into the Green Berets, and this guy was a tough cat. Okay, he knew what he was doing. I guess somebody called his uncle. Obviously, you call the only guy that's going to pick up's the uncle, and the uncle said something like he loved Trump. You don't know, and it doesn't matter. Like, he could have loved Trump all day. That does not mean that he was inspired by conservative values to blow somebody up. That doesn't mesh. It doesn't make sense. Okay. If he's really part of the death cult, he might have said that he was down for Trump just to keep cover. These people have to keep cover. Guys that are sleepers, these are sleepers. These are guys that plan this for a long time. Both of them in the military with military experience, which is crazy. We're not talking about that as much as I think we should talk about. That's wild. We have guys trained by our military, radicalized to work against us. There's something to be said about that. So that's all I have on that. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, guys, and kind of give you my thoughts on it. Ultimately, I'll just end with this. It is important that everyone not be in fear, because the media wants that, but it's also important that you stay vigilant, you stay open, you stay open-minded to terror alerts, and you stay aware that we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention as citizens, do what we have to do, and live our lives. And that, because the terrorists don't want to ultimately want us to live our lives, but we have to also understand. Oh, and I forgot to mention this: there are rumors that cybertruck killer was pro-Ukraine, and he was amped about the helping the Ukrainian war against Russia. That doesn't make any sense, though, to be a motivation for an attack. We're giving the Ukraine government all of our tax money, so the guy couldn't be necessary. So those kind of things that come out about motivations and they don't make sense means that the truth is probably simpler. They're just lunatics that are radicalized by demonic style, I guess you can say, teachings or demonic messages from some higher demon power. I don't know, man. I'm just making this up as I go along. I have no words for evil, and I was not raised around evil people, and most of you weren't either. I just don't know what makes somebody's switch flip like that and they want to kill people. But look, there's a lot of mentally ill folks, and there's a lot of stressors in this world, and being in the military that long could maybe flip a switch on you. A car with explosives is a weapon of mass destruction, and he created some mass destruction. So sad stuff.